Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today we're going to be looking at a new set of pliers from Knipex for 2021. These are the Knipex TwinGrip. This is part number 8201200. Now they also are making this in a comfort grip version as well. That's going to be part number 8202200. And for those that are interested, I will have all the links listed in the description down below. Now, Knipex TwinGrip, what it implies for its namesake is that it has gripping functionality in two different directions. In the vertical, has vertically cut teeth that are cut in kind of this U pattern, and then it also has side grip functionality. Now, what makes these pliers special is the fact that they have those vertical cut teeth where it allows you to get onto fasteners from the straight on position. This is especially useful for rounded off fasteners or button head screws, stuff of that nature. Now, it takes its styling cues from another very popular tool, namely those of the van pliers. Now, these are marketed and sold under two different brand names, but they're made by the same company, by Engineer. So if you get Engineer, then you can have green handles, and if you get Vampire Tools, the van pliers are going to come in red handles. Now, this is part of a 5 combination set that I have from them, and they are actually the designer of these vertically cut teeth for getting onto rounded off fasteners on the straight on position. And these are exceptionally good pliers. This is their combination set or combination plier. Now, what's unique about these is that those vertical cut teeth, they're actually cut in a bit of a half moon. And so what that allows you to do is as you're opening up and you're getting onto larger fasteners, it will, because of that half moon cut in there, you will engage at some point on those teeth will be on the straight on position. So that's what makes these pliers very, very special, is how they cut those teeth. Now, if we look back at the Knipex, you'll notice that those are cut in a straight line. They are vertical, but they're cut in a straight line, and they're very well done as well. So, this, excuse me, this is the combination set. Now, let's take a look at some of the others. Some of the more, well, the ones that I find more advantageous are going to be these combination pliers. And then they have the regular pliers, which are also cut in that with those vertical teeth as well. And you can see that they also have that half moon pattern integrated into them as well. Now, these will go into two different positions, and it makes them very useful. The next one that I find incredibly useful are the needle nose version of these pliers, wherein they're going to have those same vertical cut teeth. Now, these teeth don't have that half moon pattern, but they are especially useful for getting onto very, very small fasteners, especially those that are recessed pretty deeply, where if you have like a screw that has been stripped out, these are incredibly useful for getting to those types of screws. And they integrate cutters as well as the side teeth as well. And then they have their very small version. Now, these are great for those, even better for the little detail stuff. Now, these are also going to have that half moon pattern into the vertical cut teeth, and they are very nicely done as well. And the last one is probably one that's really popular. These are the spring-loaded version. So this is a combination plier as well, and it's going to have the same pattern, same overall design really, with the exception of it doesn't have the back jaws as you're going to get with the regular combination pliers. Of course, combination, they're made a little different for different applications. But these are very, very good pliers as well, and they come with a little sleeve here that keeps them in the closed position whenever they're not in use. So we're going to come back to the van pliers because I find that they are advantageous in certain areas, and the Knipex are advantageous in other areas. So let's go over some of the design, the integrated design stuff into the Knipex. First of all, it has this pinch guard. So you can see how the handles engage when they come together. It has a little raised portion here. So this one has 5 different positions. I'm just going to open it up to the fully open position. So you can see that when we close those down, that bar will engage against that handle and thereby keep the handles from closing up on you all the way. So if you slip off of a fastener, you don't run the risk of pinching your hand, which is a very, very thoughtful and well integrated design. Now, with the push button, this is something that you see in other versions of their tools, some of the very popular ones, including the Knipex Cobras, which integrate those as well. With those very fine teeth, it allows you for very fine adjustment to set these pliers to exactly the right size. Another very popular version that integrates that same style of adjustment is going to be one of my favorites. These are the Knipex Pliers wrenches, and they come in a wide range of sizes for these as well. This happens to be my personal carry when I'm working. These are the 180 or the 7-inch version, and you'll notice that they also include that same fine adjustment, which makes them very, very useful for that reason. Now, because these pliers integrate that fine adjustment, and these have 5 positions, so if we close them up all the way, we engage them, you'll see that they close down completely. And then, I didn't miss that tooth. Then if we get to the second position, they're about an 1/8 an inch, or about 3/32, I guess, is what the jaw separation is there. And then if we go out one more, now we're into about 3/8 of an inch open position, or excuse me, closed position. And if we get into the fourth, we're about 7/16, and then finally on the last one, and we're about 9/16, so a little over 1/2 an inch. So it allows you to get onto a wide variety of fasteners. Now, because of the way the teeth are integrated, the vertical cut teeth, the straight section of those, because they're cut straight, you would think that the Van Pliers might have a bit of an advantage over them for that reason. But honestly, because you have those multiple adjustments with these pliers, it really kind of nullifies that advantage. Now, they do have very aggressively cut side teeth as well. Now, this is where these pliers actually really shine, is on those side teeth. Now, let's go back to the Pliers wrenches. And you've probably seen a lot of reviews on these. These are some of the best, these are the best water pump pliers on the market. There's just hands down, this overall design is the absolute best. I've never run across a water pump plier that was better than these. Now, you'll notice that on the side jaws, they have some very aggressive teeth cut into these as well, but they're more or less parallel with one another, wherein the TwinGrip has a little bit of a curve to that top jaw, and this makes it very useful for getting onto both fasteners that are rounded off, like a hex fastener, or onto square stock as well. So I got a little piece of square stock. I'm just going to open these up a little bit, and you can kind of see that no matter where I grip these, that in any position, these things will grip on and really get a very, very good purchase onto that square stock. Now, the same thing is true of hex bolts as well. And I may have to open these up one, but you can kind of see, let me just adjust that a little bit, how the top jaw is actually engaging more or less with the flat, where the bottom jaw, actually, let's twist them around a little bit. So now you can get a little better view. This is grabbing not quite on the flat, because I put this almost directly into the V here, but it is gripping in all. The points of contact on this are just tremendous. And actually, I think I'm adjusted one too low. So let me open them up one more. And now it gets an even better grip on there. So now if we set that in that V, I've got 3 different points of contact where this thing is grabbing, and it is very, very solid. The teeth on here are incredibly well engineered, and because of that radius top jaw, it really makes them very, very good for getting onto square stock and onto rounded off hex fasteners. Now, if we switch over to some round stock in 1/2 inch, you'll notice that the bottom jaw lands right in that V, and then that top jaw really grips down onto that square stock. So from a side angle, boy, you can get a lot of pressure, a lot of tension on these. And it's really dependent on your grip strength as to how well they're going to perform. Now, where they have a bit of a disadvantage, though, is if we go to the open jaws. Actually, I open those, or the front jaws, I'm sorry. I open those up a little too far. So now, if we grip the round, this is where these pliers are at a little bit of a disadvantage, because now they're not really engaging that well, because The pliers are more designed to get onto fasteners that have been rounded off. Now, for that purpose, though, they are exceptional. So now if we set the points of the hex into those grooves, now we're getting a lot of points of contact on here. And for the straight on position in various different sizes of hex, these are incredibly, incredibly good. Now, if we go back to the engineer pliers, this is where the Knipex really kind of shines over the Van Pliers. So grabbing on hex, you can see that it grabs onto it, but it doesn't, because it's not cut as deeply or in that U pattern, it doesn't grab quite as well. Now, where these really shine, though, is when you're grabbing onto like a screw head. You get a better purchase on rounded objects or square objects as well, for that matter, because they are really gripping into the meat of the head of the screw. Where if we switch over back to the Knipex again, they in this particular case, they're pretty good. But when you get into that wider stock, if you get much bigger than this, the engineers really kind of shine. Because of the head of the screw is more, I guess it's kind of matched perfectly for the cut in those screws, or the cut in those pliers. When we get onto the round stock, though, it's you can really start to see the disadvantage to these. So what these are great for, and what I found them to be incredibly good for, is getting onto rounded off fasteners, which is what they're intended to be used on. Now, with the Van Pliers, because of the U-shaped or the half moon cut in those, and the fact that they are more flattened across the top there, I actually can get a much, much cleaner and better purchase on this 1/2-inch round stock with these pliers. The grip on here is just above and beyond what the Knipex is. So is one better than the other? Well, in different applications, one is better than the other, and vice versa. So overall, though, because of the different things that are integrated into the Knipex TwinGrip, these are probably the best overall plier for this genre of plier, wherein it has those front gripping jaws. So because of those multiple different adjustments, because of the side jaws on here as well, and then one last thing, you'll notice that in that there has a little half-round notch that they integrate into there. I haven't really heard what this is good for, but I will tell you what I have found it to be useful for, and that is when you're dealing with nails. So let's just say, well, here's an example. What about a guy or person who works in the tire industry, and you run across tires that have to have nails pulled in from them all the time? Well, this is where these pliers shine, because the head of the nail is actually more contoured, or the jaw of the plier is more contoured towards that type of fastener, or in this case a nail, then you can really get a lot of grip strength on a lot of purchase on that type of on a nail. So if you're pulling that out and you're just twisting it to get it out of the tire, and then you can switch over to the front and pinch it into that little half moon, or that round section, and now you can actually pry that thing out of there. The only thing that I wish was a little different is I wish that they had that hole cut into them a little bit deeper. And the reason I say that is because when you're tied up against this, it doesn't leave you a whole lot of room to get any leverage to pull it out. Where if they were set back a little further and you were up against something, now you have a lot more grip where you can constantly move it down and get yourself some leverage on there. I think they're cut a little too close to the end for my liking for that particular function. But overall, these are exceptionally good pliers. Now, if you've been on the fence about Knipex tools, and granted, their prices are not cheap, but if for whatever type of plier that you find yourself needing, in my case, the Pliers wrenches are one of the tools, it's my go-to. In fact, they're so good that I keep this particular set on me, as I mentioned before, when I'm working. Now, if you're more like in the plumbing industry, maybe you're looking at something like the Knipex Cobras. And if you're more in the automotive industry, I think these might just be the ticket because they are so incredibly versatile. Now, again, if you are new to Knipex or have been on the fence about trying them, choose the type of plier that you think that works best for your particular application. And I can almost guarantee you, once you try them, you will never go back because they make some exceptionally good tools. My name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.